Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This year should be a special schus for Rachel Fradel Bas Dor Peril, Rav Shalom Reuven Ben Shima, Arz Chavis Sarah Bas Ita Dvora, and Eliezer Moshe Ben Akoin Ben Sharna Mariam, and Mordechai Yelahil Ben Yosef Alevi, Bracha V'Sach Moshe Edem, and Lili Nishmas, Maras Chana Bas Rebisik Yona, Maras Alta Chana, that's what Meir Zev. We're going to be learning Siyat Tishmai, the Sigid Eina B'Rishai Lichadesh Davar Me'ata. The Gemara in Yuma and Daf Pei Aleph says, Hanyanam Yachik Shiurim Shel Onshem Elocha Moshe Misinai. Acheirim Omrim, the Shiurim of how much you have to, what shear there has to be, what amount there has to be when one does an Isser. So that shear is Halacha Moshe Misinai. Others say the Beis Din of Yaibitz was Mitaking. Ask the Gemara, how could it be that the Beis Din of Yaibitz was misaking? We know that Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar Me'ata. The Navi is not allowed to be Mechadesh. So the Gemara says, Shachom L'chazru V'yastom. It was forgotten, and then it was reinstated. So we see explicitly that even though the Etzem Shiurim is included in Lichadesh, but since the Beis Din of Yaibitz wasn't Mechadesh Allah Chadash, it was just Chazru V'yastum, they went back and they reestablished it. It's not included in the Isser of Eilam Mitzvahs She'ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar. We also find in Megillah, Daf Beis on the Beis, where B'Yirmiyah V'Sem R'B'chia Bar Abba Matzbach Tzofim Amrum, Tizbra B'Ksiv Eilam Mitzvah She'ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar Me'ata. So the Gemara says, how could it be that Mantzapach, the Osios Sophios, were said by the Nevi'im, and Navi is not allowed to be Mechadesh? And then the Gemara says that the Tzofim were mitakein, which one comes at the beginning of the word, or in the middle, and which one goes at the end. People didn't know. The Gemara says, sof, it's still Eilam Mitzvahs. How can a Navi be Mechadesh anything? And it says, the Gemara, Shachar Mechazru V'yastom. It was forgotten, and then the Nevi'im reinstated it. So we see that even though saying whether these letters should come in the middle of the word, at the end of the word, is included in Lichadesh. Nevertheless, since the Tzofim were only miyaseh to what was forgotten, it's not included in the Yisr of Eilam Mitzvahs, She'ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar Me'ata. So we have to understand how this stems with the Gemara in Tmura and of Tezayin Amud Aleph. There it says, Amar V'Yudam Rishmuel, Shol Sofim Halachas Nishtakchu Me'evel Shel Moshe. 3,000 halachas were forgotten in the time of the Abel of Moshe Rabbeinu. Amar Lo Yoshua, they said to Yoshua, Sha'al, ask. Amalam lo b'shamayim, he said, if not in Shamayim, he can't do it. It wouldn't help. Amar lo l'Shmuel, they said to Shmuel HaNavi, you should ask. Amalam eilam mitzvah she'ein navi rashai davar me'ata. He said, no. He says, these are the mitzvahs, and this teaches you that a Navi, only what Moshe was given are mitzvahs, but not a Navi is not allowed to be Mechadesh. Amar Yitzchak Nafcha, Avchat Shemesu Be'aleh. They also wanted to know about Lach Avchat Shemesu Be'aleh. So they said to Pinchas, Sha'al. And he said, Lo b'shamayim hi. The Bach has a gear said, Eilam mitzvahs. They said to Elazar, Sha'al. And he said, Eilam mitzvahs, she'ein navi rashai lechadesh davar me'ata. So we see mafurish that we're talking about the halachas that were forgotten, and they were asking these Nevi'im to reinstate them. And nevertheless, they were told, Eilam mitzvahs, she'ein rashai lechadesh davar me'ata. So we have to understand, what's the difference between those halachos that were forgotten in the time of the Abel of Moshe, where we say, Ein Navi Rashai L'Chadesh Davar, even though it's Shachum, Chazru V'Yasim, that we just want to reestablish what was forgotten. And Mantzapach and Shirim Shel Onshin, where we say that Shachum, Chazru V'Yasim is okay, you can't reestablish it based on Nevuah. What's the difference? Why don't we say, and all the halachas that mishtakech in the time of Moshe, that shachar v'chazru v'yastum, there's no problem of ein navi rashai lechadesh davar me'ata, that's our kasha. In Miksavim hamiyuchasim, the Maran Rizal Levi, Maseches Tzmura Yasa, and the Guftei Divrei Gemara. So why were those halachas that were already given to Moshe Rabbeinu included in Lichadesh? So they already were. It's not Lichadesh. They were just forgotten. So why is it called Eina B'Rashai Lichadesh? So you're right. You could say lo b'shamayim, like Yehoshua said, and like according to our Girsa Pinchas said. But why are they included in Eila mitzvahs? Shein naber asher lechadish davar me'ata. And at the end of that keta, the Riz says, the Brisker Rav, that it says, that the Megillah, that Mansipach, Chazar v'Yazdum, that's Aidei Midas Shator and Dreshes Behem. So then he said that it's Mashma and Rashi and Sukkah, that it's not like that, because it says that a Rav is Minig Nevi'im, Chazar v'Yazdu, and Rashi says Al Pi Adibur. So, how they do it? How are they mechozer miyasid al pi adibur? Ein aber Rashai Lichadesh. Either because Eila hamitzvahs or lo b'shamayim. So you want to say that chazru v'yastum is al pi mitzvahs shator dreshes b'hem, but you see not like that in Rashi and Sukkah. Rashi and Sukkah says al pi adibur al pi nevuah. So what about ein aber Rashai Lichadesh davar and lo b'shamayim? So we have a number of kashas here. We have a stira between the Gemaras. That we have the Gemara in Tzmura that says the Navi is not allowed to be Mechadesh, even a Shachom Mechazru v'Yastum. The other Gemaras that say it's okay if Shachom Mechazru v'Yastum. That if it was forgotten, they're allowed to reinstate it. And then we have a Kasha in Gufa Gemara. Why sometimes it says Lo B'Shamayim and then Lechadesh? And what B'chlal is the Chiddush? They're just reinstating. So it's just, I understand Lo B'Shamayim, but what's the Lichadesh Davar? We want to understand why sometimes this, sometimes that, sometimes Lo B'Shamayim and sometimes Eila Mitzvahs. And we want to understand why it's called Lichadesh. It's not Lichadesh, it's Shachom Mechazru v'Yastum. So the Maharsha in the Chiddushei Haggadus writes that Yehoshua, since he heard from Moshe, you can't call him a Lichadesh. And it's not including the Yisr of Eila Mitzvahs. Therefore it says Lo B'Shamayim. Because this teaches us that no Berurim help from the Shamayim. But Elazar and Pinchas, figures Sabach, they didn't hear from Moshe Rabbeinu. So for them, it would be a Chiddush. We also have to understand why the Bach changed the Girsa. Instead of Lo B'Shamayim, what we have in our Girsa, he says that what Pinchas said is Eila Mitzvahs. So the Divrei HaMaharsha, we can say that only Yoshua heard from Moshe Rabbeinu. He says Lo B'Shamayim. He doesn't have Eila mitzvahs. The pasuk says these are the mitzvahs and Navi's not allowed to be Mechadesh. But Pinchas and Elazar, for them it's a Chiddush. They didn't hear Mipiv Shel Moshe Rabbeinu. So they said from Eila mitzvahs. How do we know they didn't hear from Moshe? Is it so clear? You have to change the Girsa. Not only that, it says in the Rambam in the Perish Mishnayos that Pinchas, Elazar, Yoshua, Shloshtan Kiblu Mi Moshe. So Mehechi tasted that only Yoshua was Makabel. Pinchas and Elazar also were. So Agon Baruch Mordechai Zrachi in his Sefer Birchas Mordechai in Siman Chaf says as follows. The Rambam writes in the Perish Mishnayos back to Maso, Ve'Elazar or Pinchas v'Yoshua shloshtan kiblu mimoshe u'Yoshua shu talmido shel Moshe Rabbeinu maser Torah sheba'al peh v'tzivo aleh. So yes, Pinchas, Elazar, and Yoshua were Makabel mimoshe, but Dafka Yehoshua, who was the Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu, Torah Sheba'al Peh was given, Masar. We see there's a Chalois Shem Miyuchad of Mesira by Yehoshua Dafka. Like we say in Pirkei Avos, U'Misaro Yehoshua. And this Chalois Din Miyuchad is V'Nitztave Aleh. This is a Tzivui Miyuchad, Lehem Sheikh HaMisare Shel Torah Sheba'al Peh. In the Chedusha Emor and Rizal Levi Alator and Parshas B'Shalach, he was megala to us the makor of the Rambam. So Midivrei Sifri and Parshas Pinchas. V'tzaves Yoshua says there Tzaveu al Divrei Talmud. And the Rambam explains that he was mitzvah al Torah Shabbat Peh to pass it on. So it would appear now as follows, that the Sha'al of Yehoshua and the Sha'al of Elazar and Pinchas are fundamentally different. That Yehoshua was asked to remind them of what the Mesirah was. In other words, they should be megale to them, derech shamayim, what he forgot in the mitzvahs that were nimser al yedei Moshe v'tzivo aleim. Moshe Rabbeinu had a special Mesirah to Yoshua that he was commanded to pass on. They asked him what that Mesirah was. And he said, after Matan Torah, Shemayim can't be Mevarer. Shemayim can't tell me what Moshe Rabbeinu told me. I'm sorry. Elazar and Pinchas were asked to be Megala the Etzem HaMitzvahs, not through Be'er or Gilui Masorah. Rather, they should ask what the mitzvahs were. And then there would be Mekayim Machmas Etzem Yediyas HaMitzvah. In other words, Yoshua was being asked to restore the Masorah, the tradition. And Elazar and Pinchas were being asked just not to restore the tradition. They just want to know what the mitzvah is, to do the mitzvah. And on that they were answered, Eila mitzvahs, she'ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar me'ata. As Lova Shemayim is an Isser, or a din, that somebody cannot get from Shemayim a bearer of what the mitzvahs are. To know the mitzias of the mitzvah is not part of the problem. But it's a bearer on what was given over to reestablish the Masorah. So Pshat in Eila HaMitzvahs, She'ein Avar Rashai Lichadesh Davar, is that the Chalos Shem, Torah or Mitzvah, is only on Eila HaMitzvahs. Whatever is not included in the Mesiras HaTorah is not included in Eila HaMitzvahs. These are the mitzvahs. And now it's not included in Mesiras HaTorah. So, we said, Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar me'ata. The Yisr is not mitzad achidish b'cheftzah shel hamitzvah. But because of the chiddush, that these mitzvahs aren't going to be included anymore, nimseru mipi Moshe shetziva osamas Yoshua. So a Navi is not allowed to be mechadesh what was given over. When something was given over to Yoshua, a Navi can't be mechadesh that now, when it was forgotten. That would be called a chiddush mitzvah. It's not pshat that the problem is there's a chiddush now in the chefts of the mitzvah. But Eila HaMitzvahs, there was certain corpus of mitzvahs that were given, and getting an avua outside of that context is forbidden. Can't be done. Now we understand, what does it mean? Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar me'ata. Navi's not being mechadesh anything. I mean, a Shemayim, they're being megala. So why is it called the chiddush of the Navi? But based on what we said, we understand. The Navi is mechadesh a mitzvah that's not included in Eila mitzvah shel Moshe Rabbeinu. The Etzem mitzvah, the Cheftzah the mitzvah. The Navi is not being mechadesh. The Navi is being mechadesh a mitzvah that's not included in Eila mitzvah shel Moshe Rabbeinu. Could be the mitzvah itself. Is min Shemayim. But the problem is when he is mechadesh something that's not included in Eila HaMitzvahs. There's a corpus of Eila HaMitzvahs, these are the mitzvahs. And a Navi has no right to make a mitzvah that's not included, even if it's told to him in a Shemayim. But he has no right to come, and that's why it's called a Chiddush mitzvah. It's a Chiddush, that it's not an Eila HaMitzvahs. The Etzem mitzvah is not a Chiddush. Chefetz the mitzvah you can take min hashamayim, maybe. But the problem is when you're adding it on to Eila mitzvahs. These are the mitzvahs and nothing else. Not what wasn't Nimsar li Hoshua. These are the mitzvahs. In other words, what Moshe gave to Yoshua, these are the mitzvahs that we have to keep. But if you get it from Shemayim, that's out of the context of Eila HaMitzvahs. That wasn't given from Moshe to Yoshua. Right, the Chefetz of the mitzvah might have been given. That's not the problem. The problem is when a Navi now takes this mitzvah that was forgotten, and out of the context of what we were only allowed to do the mitzvahs, we're only allowed to keep the mitzvahs and learn the mitzvahs of what Moshe gave Yoshua. But if it's given min hashamayim, that's the Navi's Chiddush. That wasn't given by Moshe to Yoshua. So we see that there's more than just the Etzem mitzvah. There's the Mesiras HaMitzvah. So when you talk about Lo b'shamayim hi, that was said to Yoshua. Eila mitzvahs sheina Rashai Davar was told to Elazar and Pinchas and Shmuel. It's like the Rambam says, only Yoshua was commanded by Moshe on Torah Sheba'al Peh. So he's the only one where it says Lo b'shamayim hi. He is the Mesirah. Want to be mevarer min hashamayim? What was Nimsar li Hoshua? That can't be done. Lo b'shamayim hi. Pinchas, Elazar, and Shmuel. So you're right, Pinchas and Elazar were mekablim mi Moshe, like the Rambam says, but they're not mamshichei ha'masara. Because the only one who's a moser, Masara li is Yoshua. So Yoshua is a Mesira, and they were just mekablim. And therefore, they said, Eila HaMitzvahs. The Etzem Malach is not new. It was forgotten. Nevertheless, this is not going to be included in Eila HaMitzvahs anymore. That's the Yisr of Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar. So we understand now why to Yoshua he said Lo b'shamayim hi. The Mevarer, the Mesorah, I can't do. That doesn't come from Shemayim. Elazar and Pinchas wanted to know the Etzem HaMitzvah. But they were told, okay, it's not Etzem HaMitzvah, it's not a problem. But this is not going to be included in Eila mitzvahs and the mitzvahs that were given over to Yehoshua. So Lo b'shamayim hi is referring to the Mesirah. It has to be Masara li Yoshua. And if it's min hashamayim, it doesn't fly. It has to be Masara Moshe li Yoshua. And Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar Me'ata is a different vort. There the vort is that a Navi isn't allowed to be Mechadesh. What wasn't included in the Mesirah from, there's a corpus, there's a group of mitzvahs that were given from Moshe to Yoshua. You're now allowed to add on to that group. By Yoshua, he told them, Lo b'shamayim hi, I'm not allowed to be mevarer what the Mesirah was. And the Elazar and Pinchas were told, Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh Davar, because only Eila mitzvahs that were given to Yoshua. That's what we're allowed to know. But if now you're told min hashamayim, and then you reveal to us these mitzvahs, Ein Navi Rashai Lichadesh, that wouldn't have been what was revealed from Moshe to Yoshua. That would be a different path. It wouldn't be from Moshe to Yoshua. That's not included in Eila HaMitzvahs. So according to the Maharsha Shver, before we quoted the Maharsha, and the Maharsha said, that Yehoshua heard from Moshe. So he's not a Mechadesh. But Elazar and Pinchas, they apparently didn't hear. Tzarechiyun. Elazar and Pinchas also heard. Since Elazar and Pinchas also heard, you can't make that chiluk. What you can say is this din of Mesira. It's Mesara Yoshua. If it's not Mesara Yoshua, Yoshua is Mevaret Min HaShamayim. You can't be Megala. Or was Mesara Yoshua Min HaShamayim. And by Elazar and Pinchas, they heard from Moshe, and their chiddush would be that it is included in Eila mitzvahs. Because these are the mitzvahs that were given from Moshe to Yoshua. This is what you have to keep. But if you get them in a Shemayim, that's a chiddush. That's not included in Eila mitzvahs. Ein Davar Rashai Lichadesh Davar me'ata. In the Rav Nissim Gaon Mesechus Brachos of Yechesam at Beis, he explains the mice of the Tanur Shel Achnai. Rabbi Elazar had all these miracles happen to prove he was right. And they said, Lo b'shemayim he. And therefore they didn't pay any attention. Even to the Baskol. Says Rav Nissim Gaon, Shlo haisa kavana el anasas hakachamim yanichu hakabbalah shebiyadam. The Gemara shebefim shel Baskol was testing them. Ki menasa Hashem elokim eschem. That's what it says, Rabbi Yeshua, Lo b'shemayim. Torah Hashem Tamim was already given us from Sinai. Nothing changes. So don't listen. So, in other words, that's what it says. Ein mashgichim bevaskol. The reason is because Lo b'shemayim. There's no rayim in a shemayim. Not on sfeikas, not on chisurim. Not on askaras nishkachos, like Yehoshua said to Klal Yisrael. It has to be mizgala from Moshe to Yehoshua. Listen to the Baskol. But that's only when that's nogeya to the bearer of what's included in what was forgotten from Torah that was given at Sinai, or the mitzvahs that Moshe gave to Yoshua. Okay, but why can't you be Megala Etzem Ratzon Hashem? There's Ratzon Hashem. We have to know what Ratzon Hashem is. You're right. You can't be Megala what Yoshua was told. But what about just stop fulfilling Ratzon Hashem? Not being Mevar what Yoshua was told. It's not a Hashlamas Chisaron. It's just Gilu Ritzoni is Barach. And that it says, Eila mitzvahs. The mitzvahs can only be what was given through Moshe at Sinai and given over to Yoshua. Otherwise, it's not a mitzvah. That's what it means. Ein Davar Rashai Lichadesh Davar me'ata. So to be mevar what Yoshua was told can't be done. He's Lo b'shemayim. And to be mevar what the Etzem Ratzon Hashem is also can't be done because Eila mitzvahs shein Davar Rashai Lichadesh Davar. Only these are the mitzvahs. But I can't tell you now what my Ratzon is because that's not Eila mitzvahs. Only these are the mitzvahs, only what was given to Yoshua. And afterwards telling you the Nevuah would be a contradiction to that idea. So, Sfiyata Dishmai, sweetest friends, we learn a big Yisod, and the Hibstin Eila mitzvahs, and Lo b'shemayim. Lo b'shemayim means to be mevar the Masorah given to Yoshua. And that can't be done. And Eila mitzvahs, they were just asking, give us the etzem chefetz of the mitzvah. And the teretz is not Lo b'shemayim. Lo b'shemayim means to be mevar what was given to Yoshua. That's only Yoshua, affording Yoshua. Only he could do that. Only he was asked to do that because he was the one who was given to. But Elazar and Pinchas, they said, Lo b'shamayim, because that would be adding on to what was given to Yoshua, and that can't be. There's only Elam mitzvahs, these, and not what you find at Vayi Nevuah. So I hope it was clear, and we still have a lot more to do, obviously. In the meantime, we'll give ourselves a bracha, which we zocha lilmod ulamed, lishmor v'las l'kaimus kol livei salam to us hava. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.